With less than 2 weeks left, this federal election is turning out to be the most keenly fought waste of ballot paper since the last one. But you don't need to worry about throwing away your vote on one of the major parties. This year there are over 50 minor parties to throw away your vote on. Like the Senator Online Party, which plans to use internet polls to determine which way they'll vote in the Senate, much like the Labour Party. Or if that's too decisive for you, what about the Coke in the Bubblers Party, who resolutely promise not to promise anything?
Work choices is dead, buried, cremated.
But if you find the science of climate change too confusing, then you need to speak to Bill Koutalianos and his party to clear things up. Can you outline your platform for us?
Well, we're primarily opposed to the anthropogenic global warming scam, we call it.
Sorry, anthropogenic.
Anthropogenic, man-made.
The anthropogenic climate change.
No, we've got anthropogenic global warming. Both major parties support anthropogenic global warming.
Whoa, back up a second, Bill. Let's start with something easy to understand, like the name of your party. The no climate change...
No carbon tax.
No carbon tax, climate change...
skeptics.
No carbon tax, climate skeptics party. Bill Koutalianos is contesting the Senate and hopes to bring a bit of clarity to the so-called debate over climate change.
We had people telling us that the IPCC, Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, were the world's peak climate body. Now, 1 week after the last Australian federal election, there was an IAC review of the IPCC which found a lot of problems with IPCC processes.
So your party position is that you are trying to clarify the scientific basis of the IPCC in order to clear up the confusion?
No, our party position is to reject policies based on IPCC science because the science has been found to be wanting.
In fact, it is wanting. The number of climate experts who agree with Koutalianos and his party is shrinking by 0.5% every year. Which means if we don't act now, by 2018, those experts that agree with them could be completely extinct. The website of Mr. Koutalianos' party links to a submission by the Climate Sceptics to the Senate on the carbon tax. And it includes some papers by an advocate of intelligent design, some papers by a man who since said they contain some stupid mistakes, and a paper that predicts
a reduction in the rate of sea level rise since 2005 from 3.3 millimetres by about 2 millimetres a year.
So we thought sea levels were going to rise by this much, but this paper argues that in the future they'll only rise by this much. Which is a bit like downgrading the danger of being crushed by a steamroller to the danger of being crushed by a 60% smaller steamroller. Unfortunately, since that article was published, sea levels have actually risen by an average per year of this much. Which is a bit like downgrading the danger of being crushed by a steamroller to the danger of being crushed by the same steamroller, driven by a slightly smaller driver.
So we don't need to have a carbon tax, we don't need an ETS, we don't need direct action. So if we save money by not doing silly stuff, we can help pay off our debt.
Right, I get it. So this is largely about making things cheaper.
No, it's about not spending money on nonsense.
So you're against nonsense?
We're against nonsense.
Okay. That's a bit awkward.